That brings up the question, and one of the pillars of future finance is knowledge. When you think of a profession, think about doctors, think about lawyers, think about accountants. They all have a standard of education that is absolute minimum required, followed by examinations, licensing examinations, which are very rigorous in nature, before they can actually practice. You go into the finance area and you take Series 7, which probably a high school graduate can easily pass. Do you think...
My son struggled and he graduated from Yale, so I don't know.
Do you think that we as in order for us to call profession, in order for us to make sure that we are truly servicing our clients, that our education requirement deserves us to be called professional?
I think you've put your finger on one of the big issues, and that is that I've been in this industry for over 30 years, and I'm just going, it's been, different areas have evolved at different rates, but it's been on a gradual, sometimes imperceptibly slow path of evolving from whatever it was, so merchandisers of unsuitable product to unsuspecting investors, I don't know, to more of a profession today than it's ever been. But we aren't a profession fully in the same way that doctors are, lawyers are, accountants are. We haven't fully professionalized our industry. And I think that creates a number of the problems, has created and contributed to a number of the problems in the industry. There's one of my favorite sections in the book. A mentor of mine and a supporter throughout has been Charlie Ellis, who I think is one of the most remarkable people I've ever met. There's a little section in the book. This is a slightly different point, but it's going to be, but I think it's equally important. And it's in a chapter that he allowed me to adapt from his book on what makes partnerships great, I think, or just, I forget what it's called, but it's about excellence, what contributes to it, and the section is about Goldman Sachs. I'm sorry if anybody is at Goldman Sachs. By the way, Bill George, who's on the board of Goldman Sachs, endorsed the book, so they're not too upset about it. But Charlie talks about the mission drift that went on at Goldman Sachs and how that contributed to their issues. But in it, he talks about the fact that people who interact with the financial services industry aren't always clear, and we are not always clear with them about what our relationship is to them. Okay, so are we fiduciaries to them as clients? Are we, merely market makers, or are we merely counterparties? So the obligations we have to the people we interact with in the world are different, kind of in a declining scale of fiduciary obligation, if you will, whether we're fiduciaries, market makers, or counterparties. And the person who tried to make this point was Lloyd Blankfein in front of Carl Levin's committee at that crazy time, and he got eviscerated, right? There's no way to make that point in a public session cleanly. But it's an important point, and it goes along with this professionalism. When are we professionals and when aren't we professionals? And do our clients and customers know the difference? And do they protect themselves accordingly? And the answer is no.